before we get combining, we're going to clean up these trucks. We ended up picking up another pressure washer. Ethan's using the hot water pressure washer, washing up the 8320R. And Alex is working on getting silage trucks cleaned up. So we've got to get this silage grime off. There's some hazy, not only is there dirt on here, but there's a little bit of silage juice on the side of the box. So they ended up putting new tires on the front of her truck the other day. And we just need to go through everything and just spruce it up a little bit. Now it looks like she's getting right after that pretty good. They don't look as mean with the road tires on there as they do with the mud tires. But we've got a beautiful day here today. And it's making nice for getting trucks cleaned up. Well, Alex has got her truck all washed. And what we have to do to the both of these, we've got Sarah's truck pulled up here too. What we have to do is we have to replace this rear fender extension. Now, on these fenders here, they come down a little low and the corn stalks hit them, and they're a little too stiff and they end up cracking. So what we're gonna have to do, we don't have time to do it right now, but sometime this winter we'll have to cut this tube off and raise it up, and then cut these fenders off right about here. Raise this tube up to there, put the bolts in it, and then just cut the plastic off so that the corn stalks can't hit it. Alex's fender's not that bad, but Sarah's is gone completely here, and it has allowed mud to fling up the side of the truck. So now we're gonna have to get this truck cleaned up as well, and hopefully this one cleans up as nice as Alex did on her truck. So it looks like I am elected to wash Sarah's truck, because Sarah's hauling manure, spread manure rather, and Alex is gonna get her, I wouldn't necessarily call it an inner fender, it's just a fender extension. These fender extensions were 300 and, what were they, how much were they? 300 and some dollars, weren't they? Yeah, like $327. Now, the fender on the right is not as bad. I don't know why that is, but for whatever reason, they get cracked on the left-hand side. So I'm gonna get the washing here, and Alex is gonna get her fender changed out. And yeah. Freightliner likes to put their main fuse panel right up on top of the fender. It's a beautiful spot for it. But it is what it is. So I better get to washing here. You can see this has got quite a lot of corn silage mud on it. And you can see this one cleaned up pretty good. We've had these Freightliner trucks for a year. Now, just over a year. Now this box actually belongs on a different truck. It's got the slide rail system on there, and we're gonna build a box for this truck this winter, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna build a box for this other one here or not. So we'll just have to see how things go. So let's get to washing. And Alex is just digging out the fender here, and if we kind of set it up next to that old one there, or new one here, yeah, I hope it's, yeah, it looks a little different because this much of it is broke off that one. So we'll get the new one in there. We're not going to worry about cutting this off right at the moment. We're just going to go ahead and get this in there, and then we can worry about getting this shortened up so we can get over the top of the corn stalks. So, you ready to put this back in now? Yeah, fun stuff, right? Yeah, all right. I probably should just put the camera down, right? And give you a hand with this, right? Yeah. All right, well, I better set this down and I can give her a hand. Let me grab a pair of vice grips and we'll dig this guy out of there. So Alex is just tightening up some bolts here. We need to get on this other truck before it gets dark. The sun is starting to go down, but that's what this fender looks like on here. And then there's a fender flare that bolts onto the side. So we're gonna be styling here, ain't we? Huh? Yeah. You're kind of perfect size for this job, you know? I can't crawl in there like that.
That's great.
Yeah. Real picnic, huh? So, well, you get this one done, then you can do the fender on that other one. Yeah. Well, as you can see, the lights are out outside. And we washed the last bit of this one with just an Olight. So, the trouble with washing these after you've done corn silage, it usually takes a couple of times of washing to get the hazy stuff off. Now, we've got to put the fender unit on this truck yet. Alex has got most of the work done on this one. We'll finish it up in the morning. We've just got to put the fender flare on. You've got everything tight, right?
Yeah.
Got to put the fender flare on. Got to put the block heater plug. That bolt's here somewhere. I think I got to drill holes for that. Yeah, we got to drill holes for that guy there. And then these two will be ready for corn. We have truck 18 that Ethan washed. We've got to finish that one up. He ran out of steam. And we'll get that one finished up in the morning. And maybe we'll be able to combine some corn tomorrow afternoon. Right? Yeehaw. So, Sarah's gonna run grain buggy. Alex will run both of these trucks. And between my father and Richard, they'll truck the rest of the corn with a tractor trailer and the other two straight trucks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll join up with you in the morning here once we get to finishing these trucks up. But the white cleaned up a lot better than I thought it would. They were real hazy. They look kind of nasty, didn't they?
Yellow.
Yeah, they did look yellow. The rims and the aluminum even cleaned up nice. Yeah. All right. We'll join up with you in the morning. Well, I guess we are about as ready to go as we can be. Got the Peterbilt on the Olick trailer. They switched some tires around. Oh, I don't know when. It is Monday morning now. And we've gotten just about everything ready to go. Got the 8320 on the grain buggy. And we've got this fender on this other Freightliner. This is the one that Sarah drives, and they're just getting the windows cleaned up now. What do you think of your fender? You're not going to be able to throw mud all up the side of your truck anymore. But yeah, we are going to head to the field now. Nate was just taping the key back to the steering column on the Peterbilt. It's got them power locks on there, and he locked himself out of it yesterday. So so we'll get this out of the shop and we'll head to the field and get combining. The 900 here, we got that in the shop. They switched the tires on. I can't remember if I videoed anything on this or not, but this air tank had a pinhole in it. This one on this side, and I've got to order a tank for it, but Nate ended up putting that 3M panel bonding material on the tank, and we're gonna see if that seals it up. That is, you can kind of see the black. I can't even tell what I'm looking at through the viewfinder here, but at any rate, we're gonna see if that works. If it does, that's a bonus. If not, oh well. Now, we had this fuel tank fixed. Now the other one needs fixed. So yeah, oh well, right? Yeah. Well, we just ended up making one full pass down across the field. We're just getting going here. This one particular field's right around 100 acres. The trucks are parked down at that end of the field. We opened up a spot so that we could get the grain buggy onto them. Last year when we combined this field, we had to load the trucks right on the road. And this year we ought to be able to, well, we are. We're loading the trucks right in the field. So we've got some pretty good grain coming into the tank. Everything's working beautifully here. This corn head, it had a lot of work done to it. Casanova ended up putting new snapping rolls in it, new gathering chain sprockets, everything like that. So we are all brand new here on the head. The corn's running right around 18% moisture, and this corn is going to Genoa Commodities. They'll dry it down the rest of the way, store it, and then they'll grind it and bring it back to us as we need it for cornmeal. So you can see we got quite a few acres. There's quite a few rows across this field, and this field here it's a pretty goofy shaped field, to say the least. So we'll keep at it here, and we'll see how she goes. Well, Sarah's loading the third load right now. Alex and my father left with the first two already. Everything's rolling along nicely. Had a couple of loads leave the field already. Alex took the first one. Father took the second one. Sarah's got the third one loaded, and she's gonna be dumping this one onto the Aulick trailer. We got long rounds that we're working on right at the moment. We don't quite have this field opened up completely. We kind of did off the ends over to about there. Same thing in behind us here, just so that we could work near the road to get the first two loads loaded up quickly. So once we get to the field up here, we'll do that headland off, get that one off, and then we'll work on the other headland on the other end of the field, and we'll just kind of keep going at it here, zigzagging back and forth. So the corn is staying right at 18%. We've had down to as dry as 16 in here, and it's yielding right around 185 bushel. So it's not too bad. So I guess we'll just keep plugging away here. Everything's nice and dry, so for the most part, we're gonna be able to stay clean for a few days anyway. Usually we get into the mud and everything gets dirty. Last year we had to use both the dump wagon and the grain buggy on a couple of pieces just because we were so far away from the road, and it was making for a muddy mess. So we are about as empty as we're gonna get. She'll pull away, we'll fold the auger back, and we'll keep on rolling along here. Well, I guess that's gonna do it for this video. We're just jumping into day 2, getting things fueled up. Sarah will be over here in a little while. We've got one empty truck here that we could work on filling, and my father will be here with the trailer in a while, and we'll just get after it here. So the tire guys ended up putting new rear tires on the back of the combine first thing this morning. That one on the other side was getting bald or getting really wore out on the one side of the tire from the crown in the road and whatever, and I just figured that we were going to start picking up debris and whatever, and I did not want to have a flat tire, and I figured we might as well have something with some tread on it. Hopefully everything runs as good today as it did yesterday. So this tractor really didn't need any fuel, but I figured I would at least get this tank empty so that we could bring a full tank back here tomorrow. So the tail end of this video, I have a bunch of random drone shots. This is actually from the second day of combining. This is the first load we loaded for the day onto this Freightliner, so you can see that Sarah is putting the last little bit onto that truck. Alex is on her way back to the field at this point here. She had taken a load from the day before to Genoa. My father took the tractor trailer first thing in the morning here on the second day of combining. He is back here with it now, and he is taking another load that was combined from the day before. So as you'll see, as we fly over the top of this truck, you're gonna say, gee, that truck ain't even full. Well, we don't fill the 10-wheelers right up with grain corn. If we did, we would have about 30 ton of corn on the truck, and then of course that would be overloaded. So we're only loading it about just about 5/8 of the way to 3/4, not quite. and that usually gives us a safe load to be able to transport on these 10-wheelers. Now the Freightliners, they don't have lift axles on them, nor does Truck 8. However, we do have lift axles on Truck 18 and Truck 9. So the grain buggy is just about empty here, and what we usually put on is 2.5 grain tank loads from the combine. Now here's the old combine right here going to town. Now I know I'll get several questions. What is that yellow thing up on top of the combine? Well, there's only a few of us here that run a tarp on the grain bin of the combine, and I know no one has ever heard of such a thing, and it is so silly. Well, not really. If in the event it gets raining, you can either leave the grain tank load on, or at least you've got the tarp on there so the rest of your combine doesn't get wet. Now, for the most part, everything is covered up pretty well on a combine. However, when you have that big open grain tank, that is an area for water to get into everything on the combine, to rush your grain tank out and everything else here. Now, as you can see, Sarah has pulled in underneath the auger on the combine, and we are unloading on the go. We don't do that all of the time, because once we run into situations where there's little dips in the field, we worry about, or I worry about, the damn boot on the auger getting caught down into the grain buggy. We do have a new boot on here, and we do have a new outer auger tube and auger. Ours was wore out. We had to have that replaced here this past winter. Now, I'm flying the drone and combining at the same time here. I don't have auto steer on the combine. It is capable, and as you can see, we spilled a little bit of grain corn right over the front of the grain buggy. Now, I suppose we could be real fancy and have display units that talk to each other and run sync, or whatever you call it, that goes from the combine to the grain buggy tractor, but that's not really too awful necessary, because we don't drive beside all of the time. Now, another thing you'll notice is the grain buggy is awful small, and that is indeed awful small. The combine holds about 240 bushel. The grain buggy is a 500 bushel grain cart. Now, if the combine is full and we combine or unload on the go, we're not going to be able to get 2 grain tanks from the combine onto the grain buggy. She can make it over to the truck and back again before I am ready to offload onto the grain buggy. And that's usually what we do. We just take 1 grain tank at a time, or if we're hauling long distance, we'll round the grain buggy right up and take 2 full bins from the combine. But even if you had a grain buggy that held 1,000 bushel or 1,600 bushel, your combine's going to be a little bigger, and you might run into trouble with the grain buggy getting back to the combine in time. But at any rate, it is what it is. The larger combines do hold about 400 bushel, 350 to 400 bushel. Now, Alex has returned to the field at this point. She is actually checking her truck right now. I think at some point in time you see her climb up on the side. She's probably either that or she she has probably called Sarah at this point to see if her truck is ready to go. Now what you're gonna see here in a second is the combine is gonna come into frame. I had to have Sarah bring me over some oil. I was about a quart short of oil on the combine. I don't know why I didn't have a jug in my truck, but I just was not prepared. And momentarily here, you'll see Alex pull out of the field with her load of corn, and Sarah is putting the first dump onto the Aulick trailer. We end up putting 4 combine dumps, which would be about 900 to 1,000 bushel on the Aulick trailer, and that makes a decent load for it. Sarge is the other guy that's driving truck here today during this second day of harvest, but however he is not over into the field here. And as you can see, Alex is pulling out of the field and the combine comes into frame here, like I said earlier, to get oil for the combine, and I end up having to get a battery from Sarah as well. So that ought to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.